Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome back to the Since I Was Young podcast for all things heart. Midlothian episode 89, I think we're on just now. Joining you as always is myself, Ewan Ramsey, and my co-host Alan Scrimger. Alan, how are you doing, my man? You well?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. All is well. About yourself?
Yeah, mate, very well, very well. And considering we've won 2 games on the actual bounce, absolutely fabulous. Obviously, we are regarding the result literally about half an hour ago in the Viaplay League Cup against POAK, where we won 4 goals to 0. But more significantly, our triumph against Rosenborg just on the Thursday night past. Unbelievable scenes there. Hearts finishing it off in dramatic fashion as always, which has put us into the knockout phase of the qualifiers in the Conference League. So we'll obviously talk a bit about that. We've got a new transfer to bring you as well, and we will have a look ahead to our next opponent in the knockout stage of the Conference League, which will be POAK, and we'll do a wee section about them and where we think we're at about that, and that'll be your podcast for this afternoon, evening, whatever time you are watching it. So thank you very much, as always, for tuning in as always. And if you want to get in contact with us via our socials as well, please feel free to do so. All will be on screen and in the description as always. And lastly, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel as well, also in the description if you want to check that out as well. So we do hope you enjoy as always. So Alan, going back 4 days now, I think the high is only just starting to wear down now. As I said, it was in such dramatic fashion, with being a goal down on aggregate, with the Rosenborg to come to Tynecastle. Obviously, again, as we always say, but a night, in the Gorgie with the floodlights, the stadium absolutely bouncing. Uh, Everything felt great. Like it had a good vibe about it. Only took about 7 minutes for high to die down straight away. But the first goal that they scored, but nonetheless, we will talk a bit about. But as we always do, Alan, the starting lineup. What were your thoughts?
I think it was a good lineup, to be fair. I think it was as strong as it could have been. I think the only sort of question before the game was who was going to play in midfield,
Mm.
because Haring reportedly picked up a knock in training a few days before the game, so effectively ruled him out of it. Um, I didn't expect Aidan Denham to play, I'll be honest.
No.
I was kind of expecting it to be a midfield Aussie link up of Devlin and Neuenhoff. But yeah, seeing Denham's name on the team sheet was really good
Mm.
for him. Boise starting as well, obviously a big plus as well. And we had the left hand side of Kingsley and Cochrane together. Kingsley playing left back and Cochrane playing further forward. But just touching on Aidan Denham, obviously, I think he was the one that kind of got the headlines when the starting 11 came out, and it was
Mm.
the story. And I don't know if you've seen some of the interviews that he's done since then, since the game, but he
Yeah.
he essentially about 6 months ago or so was one of the names. Obviously, at the end of every season, clubs basically announce who's getting released and who's getting kept, sort of thing. And Aidan Denham was one of those names that was getting released under previous management. Naismith obviously came in, rated him, and offered him a contract, and he signed it, and he's back, which is great. But yeah, I think he's only a kid. I think he's 19, 20-year old. Just a very, very promising young player, and it was nice to see him play on a big stage like that. His
Mm.
first start for Hearts, and quite a game to get it, to be fair.
Absolutely
But
right.
yeah, no, I was pleased with the 11. I don't think, on reflection, I'm not going to look at any of the players and go, oh, they shouldn't have played.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just while we're on the subject as well, it's a bit of a was it oh, by curveball as well. But like, I mean, like, it's just what it comes to prove the point as well. Like, obviously throughout last year, like, in terms of the squad depth as well and the amount of injuries we had, and to see Denham, like, like wouldn't go as far to say like sort of break through the actual team, but he's starting to feature a lot more as well. And in that same kind of context, would you have felt like, if Robbie had actually had more faith in the younger players in terms of the squad depth from last year, and the amount of players we brought in as well, some which didn't work at all. Do you know? Would you feel as if like if we did actually bring like sort of one or two players through the youth ranks last year? I'm not saying that it would have changed anything or if it would have made the season easier or we would have made third, but do you not think it would have made things that tiny bit easier? Like just was showing the talent that we've seen from what was it Denim so far.
Don't know if it made it easier, but I think it probably would have given Robbie a bit more time, maybe a bit more patience from supporters, maybe.
Hmm.
But yeah, I mean, like you say, he's Aiden Denham. It's important we don't get too caught up on him just now because obviously he's still a very young prospect and it's still very, very early.
Hmm.
But the fact that he's featuring ahead of some players that are much more senior than him shows that he's got something and he's obviously well thought of. But yeah, I mean, like we said, without going over old ground, we said about Robbie months ago that one of his biggest issues was not giving youth an opportunity. And, Aiden Denham has shown that he's got ability.
Hmm.
Maybe 6 months ago he wasn't the player he is today, or maybe Robbie just didn't see it, which is entirely reasonable. Every manager has a different view. But Stephen Naismith knows him from being in the B team and having probably worked with him in that. So Nazy obviously trusts these young players to come in and have a go. And if
Hmm.
Aiden Denham can be the first one, because I think you'd probably say he's one of the sort of, I'm not saying established first teamers, but he's part of the
Yeah.
first team group.
Yeah.
Um, there was also Tates and Rathy. They're two names that were around the team as well, but obviously not as close to the first team as Denham has proven to be.
Hmm.
But yeah, it was just a very nice thing, and obviously Eden Denham is a boyhood jambo. He was talking about his season ticket in the main stand and talking about just watching the players and all the rest of it. And I think as well, like he seems to have a very good attitude, which is another very important thing. It's nice, as I say, and I'll keep saying it. It's very nice, and the fact that Aiden Denham is a jambo as well, it's like you have a bit more of a connection. You know what I mean?
I mean, have you made that establishment that there could be a player in there as well?
There could be. There
Could,
could be.
there might be, there just might be.
There could
But yeah,
be.
yeah, no, I'm sure there will be, man. But yeah, as the game was it kicked off, as we said at the start, like what was it? The emotions were the vibing high. The Gorgie was bouncing, and as I said, 7 or 8. It was a man. It's in time. Tynecastle closed down essentially, um, from a free kick from the Rosenberg. To be fair though, when the header came in, I genuinely thought amazing save from the Clark, like absolutely brilliant save. Very was Gordon esque as such, but
Was.
the the rebound effort, like again, like I almost felt bad for Clark because it was almost a goal, like a shot that he could have was it scrambled out of the net, but then because obviously VAR wasn't like in use, so like I mean like it could have was it favored us, but like essentially I got it out of the net, bounced back all off his knee, went further in, tried to scramble it out, and then like it was all done. So at that moment, Alan, once he scored that goal, Well, what were your thoughts on that? Because obviously, like was it you but that actual game? So, what was the atmosphere like at that point?
It was fun because like obviously prior to that, even prior to the goal, we did start relatively well. Like you could see we were trying to be on the front foot, but it just didn't obviously result in a major chance, and then they score with literally their first attack of the game. But to be fair, the atmosphere and the stands at Tiny, and it was electric. It was electric for the whole game, and I think that made a massive difference because it would have been easy for sort of heads to go down and fans to go quiet and go, oh God, here we go again. It's another one of these types of games. But I have to be honest, the atmosphere was brilliant. Um, the players clearly fed off that, and they didn't let their heads go down either. So it was. I think it's one of those things. We gave them a goal, like you say. It was probably an avoidable goal, but it is what it is. Typical Hearts concede from a cross again.
Good
One
show.
day we'll stop doing that. But yeah, like I say, it wasn't a great start, obviously, because you go an extra goal down. But I think as well the the job on the night, we had to win by two clear goals. We had to score two goals anyway, so it didn't really change very much in terms of the the result and the way it was going to go. But yeah, no, like I say, the atmosphere was really, really good, and it certainly helped. And I think even after the goal, um, we kind of settled down again, and we kind of just kept playing our own way and kept, doing the right things. I think a lot of the players and management after the game were talking about patience and being a big part of it, and it clearly was. Because yeah, as I say, it would have been very, very easy for us to just go, right, lads, that's it, that's us done, we're out. Let's just go through the motions, but they didn't.
Yeah, well, exactly, and as you said, it was clearly didn't, because obviously not long after, again, including the goal that he scored today against Partick. That's what already his fourth goal of the season. Our
Mhm.
very own was Cowdyland has got us back in front. Like was it nice? We was it was trip was or a pass through from the Kingsley, and then Shankland like as cool as you like as well. That lovely wee chip as well. Honestly, that cool cam was to compose as well. That certainly got me off my seat at home. So that was nice. Was it nice to see as well. For the rest of the first half, Alan, I don't know like about you, but I don't know. Like, I couldn't really tell if we looked in a control or if the Rosenborg was almost like inviting the pressure because obviously, you know, even when it did go 1-1, they didn't have to do anything. Like like they could have just sat like some all the players behind the like the ball and then not do that much. So just like sort of like throughout the rest of the first half, what was like the atmosphere, sort of like from was of both teams?
No, I think it helped obviously that Rosenberg's probably best player in the first leg, that Jaden Nelson, the
Mm.
winger, he wasn't fit, so he wasn't playing. The young lad Nippin or Nipin or however you pronounce it, he still looked good,
Mm.
but didn't have as good a game as he had in the first leg. And they had another couple of injuries, I think, as well. So it wasn't the same Rosenberg team that we played in the first leg, but it didn't, that doesn't matter because they're still a very good team. But
Mm.
yeah, like as the sort of the half went on, it kind of became a bit like we were kind of controlling it, but also wary of the Rosenberg counter attack, which is obviously what they showed in the first leg as well. But yeah, it was like I say, the atmosphere for the majority of the game was really good, as it can be on a European night at Tynecastle. Like it's
Mm.
as you said at the start, the European nights under the lights. There's something special about them, and yeah, the fan base, the Gorgie Ultras. I didn't even mention the display that they put on prior
Hmm.
to the kickoff. The big tifo banner that was shown was a nice touch as well. And yeah, like I say, the atmosphere, it was almost like belief was growing because we weren't really seeing all that much. But it
Mm,
was, it was still in the balance, obviously. But when it got to halftime, I was just kind of sitting there thinking, well, we're still in this. We're still in this. We've still got a chance. So yeah, there was positivity. There was positivity. Of course, there's things that we could have done better, and there were a few moments that didn't really work. But I spoke about Aiden Denham at the start. He had a few slack passes and kind of misplaced the ball a few times. But again, he's a youngster. He's going to make mistakes on his debut as well.
of course.
But yeah, like I say, it was the first half itself was relatively good, but obviously the more eventful half was the second, shall we say?
Absolutely, sir. And the first sort of main event of that was your main man, what was it, Natty Atkinson, um, who I don't know how he did it, and I don't know even know how it actually happened. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, just simple stuff as well. But just to kind of ask you like a quick other question before we talk about the like the clearance up on your kind of heart with a pedestal. Is Haring still like at that actual top, or is Natty kind of like leaning him off that was a pedestal now?
Oh, you're gonna make me pick. You're gonna make me
In
pick.
in your
That's
alternative scenario, sir, if one person
oh,
has to
don't.
get released off the team,
I love Peter Haring unconditionally. I adore that man. And as much as I love Natty Atkinson, I think Haring just picks it just for me.
fair dues.
But at that moment, Natty Atkinson was my favorite person on the
Absolutely
planet.
agreed.
um, I don't, like you say, I don't know how they managed to get themselves into that mess. It was kind of
Mm.
Rolls and Natty. I think it was Rolls, and they kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
got a bit of confusion amongst themselves. And I think it was actually Natty that nearly put it over the line to then clear it off the line. But
Fantastic value.
yeah, oh god, I. But no, like I say, like Natty was. I think Natty had a solid game. He wasn't the best Australian on the pitch though, but he had a solid game. But yeah, the goal line clearance happened, and then what happened after that was absolute carnage.
You know it, sir. You know it. I mean, just before we get into the carnage as well, it was nice to see it like a familiar face back. If there was ever a time to make something happen, as he so can do, was a bit Barry Mackay. Again, like obviously throughout last year as well, like obviously we gave him was it criticism, we give him the praise. Just constantly on and off, on and off. What did you personally make of his performance throughout that game, mate?
Yeah, I thought, like I said at halftime, they took Oda off and brought Mackay on. I don't think Oda had his best game, so I can kind of
Yeah.
understand why Mackay came on. He came on and played on the right, which is not where he normally plays. He's normally obviously off the left, but I thought he did really well off the right. To be honest, they switched him over to the left later in the game when they made other changes. But yeah, Barry Mackay is a player that we've always said is annoying at the best of times. But it was nice to see him back. It was nice to see him back because when he's on his game, he's a game changer. Everybody knows that. It's just the fact he doesn't do it often enough that annoys as many people as it does.
Mm.
But yeah, it was nice to see him, and as I say, he came on, played in the right, and he actually looked relatively comfortable on
Mm.
that side, cutting in and kind of linking things up and getting involved. Um, which is obviously what happened with the first Cammy Devlin goal. The ball was played out. Barry Mackay intercepts it, plays it into, or it finds its way to Liam Boyce, and Boyce chops it back inside and sends one of the Rosenborg defenders to the shops, which was lovely. Hits a shot, and I was, when he chopped the ball back inside, I'm sitting there going, shoot, just fucking shoot. You're gonna score, just fucking
Mm.
shoot. And he hit it, and I thought it was going in. I thought it was
Yeah,
going in. The
same here.
goalkeeper makes a good save. Yeah, the goalkeeper makes a really good save.
Mm.
But Cammy Devlin, probably the most unlikely person to pop up in that moment. um,
literally what I was about to say, Alan. Like when Boyce was it cut it back in that what was the moment there there was nothing that I did want more than for Boyce specifically to score just
yeah,
because he'd been out for so long. Obviously, when I saw that it was falling back to Cammy Devlin, there was there was nobody I did not want more than to Cam because let's be honest, when he hit it, like and obviously from the TV, I genuinely thought he skied it. Like genuinely because it hit the roof of the net, and I genuinely thought he skied it just in that split second. But fantastic value from that young man. Um, like I mean, him as well. Like obviously he's been under like a bit of flack throughout the last few weeks as well, saying like I can't recall who it was, but there were some folks saying like does everybody think Academy Devlin is actually that good? Has he been found out? This and that, but like it's those the kind of moments that like do make the difference as well. And he bossed that midfield like again
yeah.
that was the Cammy Devlin we saw when he first signed for us, just literally being such a wee annoying wee what was a terrier, just literally running
Oh
up
yeah.
and down that actual park, and you did absolutely amazing.
Oh god, yeah. He's you see, he has had a lot of criticism in the last little while, and I'm not entirely sure why. To be honest, I think you know Hearts fans in general can be quite guilty of it on occasions for criticizing players for things that are not their strong points of their game anyway. You
Mm-hmm.
know, lots of people talk about Kai Rolls as another example and say, oh, he's no good in the air, he's this, he's that, he's this, he's that. But to understand these players is to understand what they're good at. And
Mm-hmm.
Cammy Devlin is very good at breaking up the play and winning the ball back and recycling it. That's what he does. And he did it when he needed to do it against Rosenborg. The way the midfield looks like Naismith, McAvoy, whoever wants it to work. They want the midfielders to be more involved in general. They want them to be further up the pitch. They want them to be breaking forward and supporting the forwards. And that's not Cammy Devlin's game. He doesn't do that. I mean, he does it well. He did it on Thursday night, but he doesn't normally do it. But that's why he's not that good at it because it's not part of his game that is part of him. It's not to say he can't do it because obviously he did. But yeah, I think, like I say, the criticism of Cammy Devlin was rather unfair. But we're Hearts fans. We have to have a scapegoat of a certain player at some point. We can't just be happy with every man in the squad because then there would be something very wrong. Um,
Well,
but yeah, no, I just wanted to say, just
gosh,
going back to the goal, that he scored. Obviously, as you say, it genuinely felt like he was going to sky over the bar. Went under the bar, roof of the net, and Tynecastle just exploded, absolutely exploded. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. Again, I keep saying it, but Tynecastle on a European night when it's going our way is it's hard to beat that. And Cammy Devlin, not for the only time in the game, lifted the roof off, which was brilliant.
amazing. And just to kind of go back to maybe prove that he's not amazing in terms of a forward, like a kind of presence. Like you've probably already watched back the highlights. You tell me that those two shots that he took before he scored that last goal were not going fucking away to the main stand. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Those
Oh,
two shots were
he,
away with
oh God,
it.
he's yeah, like you say. I mean, he's not a forward. He's not a forward thinking
Really
midfielder.
not.
Is Cammy, but yeah, the second goal that Cammy scored was yeah, it was like everything. I don't know, like maybe other people that were there will think similarly, but to me, it was just like time just kind of stopped, and it was like he hits the
Right?
first one, And Shanklin just goes, right, it's a pass. It's fine. It wasn't a shot. It's a pass to me. That's fine. Like, I'll make it
Yeah.
work. Even though it definitely was a shot. But
Oh
anyway,
yeah, it really was.
Shanklin does his best hold up play and then flicks it back to Devlin, who's come about 5 yards closer in that time. And it was when I saw Devlin running up to the ball, that was when time sort of stopped. And I thought,
Yeah.
right,
If
what?
once again, if there was ever a player you didn't want to get on the ball at that moment,
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
not to say that he can't shoot, but I'm like anybody else,
Nah.
you know?
It's that old adage of if you don't shoot, you don't score, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
And he just has a chance and just thinks, fuck it, I'm just gonna hit it again. Um, like the period in between the second and third goals, the game sort of died a little bit because we made some subs and they made some subs, and it kind of was a wee bit flat. But
Mm.
the Cammy Devlin goal to put us 3-1 up, like I say, when he went to hit it, I'm sitting there going, nah, come on, don't be stupid. Just lay it wide or, find Shankland again or do something else. And he goes to hit it, and I've watched it probably upwards of 200 times. Like, I'm not even exaggerating.
Did the
The
thing
way,
about the castle actually like explode, like genuinely like explode?
yes, oh yeah, yeah, it had just been uprooted. Honestly, it was unbelievable. Um, the way and the thing is, like, and this is going to sound really harsh. It wasn't a great goal,
It
obviously.
was
Like,
shite, but
he
fuck it, like we'll
completely
take it anyway.
scuffs the shot. Yeah, he completely scuffs the shot. The Rosenborg defender it deflects off of. The goalkeeper goes completely the wrong way because he's not going to get to it. And it just goes in. And again, in that moment when the ball crossed the line, it was like Tynecastle just exploded again. And the atmosphere for the full 90 minutes was phenomenal.
Mm.
But that moment, that celebration with Cammy and with all the players buzzing and all the rest of it, it was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And again, like I keep saying, that's what European nights at Tynecastle can be like, and it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's just Tynecastle's a special place. It's a special place, and that
Of course.
moment was a special moment. There's no question of doubt about it. Cammy's little golf swing celebration as well. I loved that. I don't know if that's a new thing or,
Hope
but
so.
yeah, it was. Yeah, oh God, I hope we see it a little bit more. To be fair, it
Of
would be
course,
nice.
exactly. No.
But yeah, no, Tynecastle just erupted as it can do, and the atmosphere was incredible.
Mm.
And obviously, an unbelievable moment to turn the tie around.
Absolutely. I mean, before we talk about was it the party game as we record was it today just as we're on the subject obviously we knew before the game that if we had one we were going to get what was it what was it the Greek team was it the POAK I looked I think they started their domestic season today. I might be wrong, but I think they started it was today.
Yeah.
Some of the notes that you nicely was sent me. That they came fourth in their domestic league last year. Like just below like the big guns like as well was it like what was it Panathinaikos, Ike Athens and Olympiacos as well. Um, First legs at home, tiny bit annoying on that one, but like that was that's a little like of the draw. So it's next Thursday, but it'll be this Thursday. We bring this out. Um, what are your thoughts, man? Like again, like I'm kind of having the same sort of view as we're kind of having now. I think this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this was a season where like we're going to allow ourselves to be as confident as we can be, but not go over the top. Like I mean, the only good thing is that the comfort I'll get was actually knowing that Hibs will get absolutely pumped. So yeah. What's your thoughts? I mean, if we have a good result at home, like maybe a 1-0 or maybe even like a 2-0 win, could we possibly see the group stages again this year?
I think it's the
It's a
home
bit
leg,
like
like you say,
sort of
the home leg.
yes and no. Yeah,
Yeah, the home leg is it's annoying that it's first, but equally it kind of gives us a chance to use the home momentum because
yeah,
obviously we win the tie against Rosenborg, we won today against Partick, so there's a bit of momentum building, and hopefully we can kind of keep that rolling at home, which will make a big difference. And if the
of course.
atmosphere is how it was against Rosenborg, that'll obviously help. McAvoy described the fans as the 12th man against Rosenborg, and I think that's absolutely nailed
Absolutely
on.
spot on. Yeah.
Yeah, and that needs to carry on into the POAK game. They're not a bad team though. They're not a bad
No.
team. They've got some notable players. They've got lad Zivkovic. That was a hot prospect coming through at Benfica when he was younger. Pacey winger, could be a difficult night for Atkinson or Ofaya, whoever plays at fullback. I'm already having visions of that.
Yeah.
They've also, I don't know if they've changed manager in the summer, to be honest, but they've had a busy summer window. They've essentially, I think, sold and signed 15 and 17 players or something like that. They've had quite a lot of turnover. I don't know if that's normal in Greek football. I'm not entirely sure.
Is
But
there new? What was the coach? Was it Craig Levine by any chance?
unveiled them all on one day. um, but yeah, like Oak, they're not a bad team. They're not a bad
No,
team, and I think
absolutely not.
they set up in a similar shape to what we do or what we have done in the last few weeks. That 4-2-3-1.
Mhm.
It's certainly achievable at
Hmm.
Tynecastle, but I'll feel a lot better about the away tie if we could take maybe a two-goal advantage.
Yeah,
You know, if we
absolutely.
can win the game at Tiny and then go away and see what we can do away from home because it won't be easy over there. I'm sure typical Greece. I'm sure it'll be absolutely roasting.
Oh, mate,
So
like
there'll be
they're like sort of fans as well. Like they, like I'm
mm,
telling you now. Like I mean, just when I looked at some of the like sort of news stories, like actual news stories, where some of the traveling fans, they're batshit fucking crazy. Like literally, I can't even mind which game it was. Like, it was a kind of mind if it was last season or the season before, where after the game they actually burnt the seats and like ravishing. So part of me is a tiny bit anxious as well. But yeah, no, like I do agree. Like, I mean, if we come away with a one goal win, like okay, like you know, I mean, like it's obviously to depend on how it goes. Like you know, I mean, because obviously, like was it as you said as well, like you know, if we do come away with 2-0 win, we obviously don't have to try and get on the front foot. Like you know, I mean, this is when I would actually bring Robbie back to be defensive minded as fuck. But yeah, like I mean, I think yeah, a 2-0 win, I would feel comfortable with. Like we've actually got a chance to take to the second leg. But yeah, I reckon if we do put in like a good performance, even like look, even if it is a 0-0 draw, as long as we don't lose,
yeah,
like you know what I mean, we'll obviously
yeah,
still be in the tie. But I mean, normally we would usually wait until the actual end of the podcast. But I'll take a wee was a prediction from you now. What you think the first leg score will be?
yeah. I got slaughtered for being ridiculously negative about my prediction for the second leg
I was
against
I was at
Rosenborg.
the top of that list, mate. Aye.
You were, but you weren't the only one, which is fine. Which is fine.
It's all
I'm
good.
delighted that my prediction was wrong. Um, POK Hook Salonika. I am gonna go for a. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna go for a 2-1 win for the Hearts. That's what I'm going
Interesting.
for.
Interesting. Uh, I think you've would you like want to transfer this negativity like sort of prediction here. Uh, I'd like to say a 2-0 win, but I'm probably going to get Was it Slaughter now as well? I'm actually going to go for a 0-0. I don't know why. Like
Fair enough.
Pout just kind of seem a bit more established. Even
Yeah,
though they've not. I mean, the only good thing, and hopefully will work in our favor, is that their season only started no, like it only started today. But again, as
yeah.
folk are like are watching this, it'll be yesterday, so they'll obviously have to get up to speed as well. So that kind of plays in our favor. But I'm going to go for a 0-0 draw. But much like yourself, Brother Rosen game, Alan, I hope I am dead wrong. Absolutely dead wrong. And with that in mind as well, obviously, we said at the start, as we speak here, we are recording this on a Sunday afternoon, where we not long after we beat Partick Thistle in the Viaplay League Cup with 4 goals to 0. And we've also just found out as well as we're speaking right now that the draw got made for the quarterfinals of the League Cup, where we have been drawn away to Kilmarnock to Alan's delight. Obviously, we'll have a bit of a reaction about that in just a wee second. Unfortunately, Alan, as you know, I was at work while all the action was taking place this afternoon. You did manage to watch it via was a PPV. Uh, I mean, we said last week when we were doing our predictions that, like, we know that Partick is a decent side, but personally, I thought it was going to be a comfortable win, which it was. So, what were your thoughts on the whole game, mate?
Well, I mean, I'll start as we usually do with a starting 11 call. We had, it was one of those, I don't know whether, like, some people were saying, oh, let's rotate everyone and, save players for Thursday and, that sort of thing. I think we found quite a good balance, though. Like, he
Mm.
rested some, but not everyone. I didn't expect Shanklin to start, and he did. I didn't expect both Kent and Rolls to start, but they did. So the lineup was essentially it was Xander Clark in goal. There was a back four of Alex Cochrane at left back. There was Kent and Rolls at centre back, and then the new loan signing that was announced on the Friday was Odell Ofaya. I think I've said it right. I don't honestly know, but looks a big, strong, physical lad. Can play right back and also centre back. Probably sort of like a James Hill of this season in terms of positions. So he started at right back. The midfield two was Neuenhoff and Toby Sibic, something that some people
We've been
have been
screaming out
calling.
for, though. We've been screaming out
Yeah,
for that,
some
though.
some people have wanted Toby Sibic to play central midfield. I was kind of indifferent on it because, like I said earlier, people were critical of Cammy Devlin and suggesting that Sibic should play instead of him. However, neither one of those two is a very creative forward playing midfielder, despite Cammy Devlin turning into one against Rosenborg. Um, but yeah, like I said, today was a good game for Civic to play there. A game that we're probably likely to win, so it wasn't going to be the hardest challenge for Civic. So it was nice to see him playing as well because he needs minutes. He's not really played much so far.
No.
The forward line was Vargas, Alex Lowry playing the 10, Barry Mackay starting, and Shankland up front. So a little bit of rotation. No Oda at all in the matchday squad, nor Atkinson either. Both obviously clearly rested for Thursday because you would imagine both will start
Mm.
despite Ofaya having a good debut. I still think Natty will play, and that is not me being biased in any way, shape, or form at all. I promise. But yeah, no, it was a strong 11. Pleased to see that we took it seriously because obviously we haven't done all that well in the League Cup in recent years. So it would be nice to try and go on a little run in it this season.
Probably
Partick,
won't now.
yeah, well, let's leave that.
Aye.
Leave that till later. Partick are a decent championship outfit. Very close to promotion last year. Just missed out. So yeah, it was always going to be a tricky tie on paper, but as it kind of unfolded, it was relatively routine and comfortable, which was nice. I think considering the highs of Thursday night, I think having a sort of nice, comfortable afternoon was very positive. Because we always say after a European tie, the weekend games are always a bit of a slog and a bit of a struggle, but
Mhm.
we didn't have that today, which was really really nice. Started quickly, looked good. First 10 minutes got a goal. It was an own goal, but it was a goal. They all
Was
count.
a goal nonetheless.
Yeah, it was a corner. Alex Lowry delivery. Have we finally found someone that can take a corner? Potentially. It was a good delivery into the box. I think it was Kent or maybe Rolls. I can't remember which one of them. Anyway, one of them got a
Mhm.
header on it. And then Brian Graham, the veteran Partick striker, forgot which box he was in and swung a foot at it and it went in. So that was nice. Yeah, nothing. Again, like I say, it was a relatively comfortable afternoon. It was lots of attack versus defense kind of vibes. Um, the half kind of grew in, and it wasn't a great game to watch, to be quite honest. Then the mentioned new debutant at right back, Odell Ofaya, gets on the end of yet another Alex Lowry corner. I don't know because I haven't had a chance to look into it, but I don't remember the last time we scored two goals from two corners in the same game. Granted, one of them was an own goal, but I'm still counting
Was
it.
probably before we were was it actually born, man? Probably.
Probably, you're probably not wrong there. But yeah, it was a good header. He just gets up and just absolutely bulleted it in off the crossbar. I don't know about you, but I always like a goal that goes in off the crossbar. There's
Oh, aye.
something very
Special.
visually
Tasty.
pleasing about it hitting the crossbar and then bouncing down over the line. I don't know what it is. It's just a thing that I like. One of my weird things, I suppose. One of many. Um,
Let you what I was a bit say, but hey.
Aye, don't worry. I'll beat you to it. It's fine. I can insult myself. It's allowed. But yeah, then half time came and it wasn't. It was a typical Premiership side against a lower league opposition. There wasn't
Yeah.
really too much to write home about,
And
thankfully.
aye, well, was it was it just to mention as well, like when I was seeing the the results on the was it on the BBC website as well. Also, our new what was it Japanese forward as well also got on the score sheet to claim his first goal.
He did. He did. Obviously, second half started. Shankland got the third goal because Shankland just scores goals.
Mate,
Apparently,
he's
doesn't
going.
matter.
He's away this season. He's away.
No,
He's
nah.
away.
I don't like without going on another conversation about it.
Yeah, I
Like we
know, I know.
spoke a lot about it last week, but seeing his reaction after the Rosenborg game and the interview that he gave after it, and he basically spoke about being in the here and now and not thinking too far ahead and focusing on Hearts and enjoying his football and all that sort of stuff. He doesn't sound like a player that's desperate to leave, and I think that's a big thing. I
Mm.
think obviously, if we can keep him for as long as possible, that would be great. But I think inevitably he will go at some point. I just don't think it'll be now. He took his goal relatively well, but it was a pretty simple goal, to be honest. He
Mm.
just intercepted it and just went past the keeper. Well, didn't go past the keeper, but slotted it past the keeper. Um, then we made some changes. Tagawa came on, as you said. Stephen Kingsley came on and looked relatively good. He was another one that I didn't even mention against Rosenborg. I thought he did really
Yeah,
well. It's nice to see. Nice to see Kingsley back to some kind of form. Then Aidan Denham came on as well with half an hour to go. The game kind of stopped a little bit. It kind of died a little bit because it was done. At 3-0, it was finished. Boyce came on for the last 20 minutes for Barry Mackay. And then Tagawa, like you say, gets a goal with 15 minutes to go. And the tequila song rings out from the home end. I absolutely love that chant, by the
quality
way.
one.
I absolutely love it. I said it on Twitter not too long ago that I don't remember a player having done so little and been given a song already. But it's catchy as hell.
Quality
And
man, quality.
yeah, it was a good finish from Tagawa. again, just quite comfortable, quite simple, quite easy. Alex Lowry won the ball and played it through to Tagawa, who'd made a really good run, and he just slotted it past the keeper. But yeah, that was about it. In terms of players to highlight, Alex Lowry looked good in the number 10 role. He is a number 10 as much as we want to try and play him as a winger. He's not a winger. He's a number 10 every day of the week for me. Civic looked okay in midfield. But again, as I say, it's the perfect game to play him in there because he wasn't tested at all. And when he was, he dealt with everything. Liam Boyce did Liam Boyce things again. What else? What else can you say? It's just nice to get a nice, comfortable win. I predicted 3-1 last week, so I'm going to claim a victory because I said it'd be 3-1 and there was 4 goals, so I'm claiming that. Can I claim that?
Well, I mean, we're not doing the like the league. Was it predictions board now, mate? So absolutely, you can claim that all you like. Like that was a embarrassing monstrosity that was, wasn't it? Like literally out of
It was.
30 games, we only claimed about like 15 points each or something like that. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
we proved that we know absolutely nothing about predicting football
And
results.
and
So
so it will remain the same. So yes, as we said there, it was a nice, was a comfortable afternoon for Hearts beating Partick 4 goals to nil. More to the news that just came out from the Viaplay Cup draw, and which we will end the pod on. The shock result of the was of the round was of course was a Kilmarnock putting out Celtic, which will end any hopes of another fucking treble. Thank Christ. And we have been drawn away to the Kelly Park for the quarterfinals. When we literally just found out and when became was it back on, I reckon it's not the most amazing tactic considering the form that the Kelly are on just now. Me personally, I think it could have been worse. Like I think if you're gonna get drawn away, obviously, like you I could have been drawn to such. I mean, I'm gonna go past here. Yeah, so like I could have been drawn to teams like obviously Hibs. You still have Aberdeen there, Rangers. I think the rest of them, like you've got the county, St Mirren, and Livingston as well. So, I mean, I guess anytime you're are going to get drawn to like away from home, like they're going to be tough anyway. But I think I'm going to assume Alan, what makes it a bit sort of like like worse for yourself, I'm going to guess, is one, just the form that they're on just now, as I mentioned, and two, they're amazing up to date with the plastic pitch as well. So, are you sure you're like sort of like got like some more like sort of was it negative thoughts about that tie than the positive?
yes. Have you
Yes.
seen Kilmarnock this season so far?
I've
Okay,
not.
we're only a few games in, but the first game they played, they beat Rangers at home
Mm,
on that pitch, and Michael Beale blamed the pitch, which he would. But
mm,
Kilmarnock actually played very well in that game. Then we
mm,
played them in the league, got a draw. They looked okay without being spectacular. And then they beat Celtic today, which takes some
all right.
doing
Okay. Fair enough.
for
Actually,
anyone.
yeah.
I don't listen. I think, like you say, it could have been worse. Like I would rather go away to Kilmarnock than go away to Ibrox, for
Mm,
example, or go away to Pittodrie, for example.
mm.
But it's not an easy game, and
No.
Kilmarnock, like I said before, Kilmarnock are one of those teams that will be top six this season, in my opinion.
Mm,
But the tie will be played at the end of September. I think it'll probably likely be a midweek game. So yeah, it'll be difficult. It will be difficult. Because Kilmarnock are just a very, very annoying side at the moment. But I
agreed.
hope they get some injuries, and I hope their form falls off a cliff between now and the end of September. Put it that way, it would be quite nice.
You may hope it,
um,
Alan.
yeah, no, I'll rattle through the other ties in the quarter final since
Mm,
the draw's
of
out there.
course,
So
yeah.
it's we were the first, or we weren't the first team out the hat. Kilmarnock were the first team out the hat. So it was Kilmarnock versus Hearts, Rangers versus Livingston, Ross County versus Aberdeen, and Hibs versus St Mirren.
Won the St
So
Mirren.
yeah, oh definitely. But it's nice to be in a last eight of the Viaplay Cup, and I do think we have a chance against Kilmarnock. I think
Yes, we do.
it's, as I say, it's not the worst tie in the world, but it's certainly one I would have rather avoided.
Yeah.
But if we can get through that, get into a semi final, and it would be nice, like I said before, we've not really done all that well in the League Cup in the last few years.
Mm.
So
Oh,
trying to get to latter stages, and with Celtic being out now, it opens it up for everybody else. So yeah, I'll try and end on a positive note and say, yeah, like it could have been a lot worse.
absolutely. Nice way to end the podcast there. But I am going to add one last thing. Obviously, with the magnificent success of the new a game show that we came up with last week, I do actually have one question in mind of we've played in South Morocco. Let's play alternative scenarios. Got to change that title. I do actually have one was a question, and it's an interesting one because both has its positive and negatives like as well. So I'll throw it at you, Alan, to end the podcast here. So, in your alternative with a scenario, would you take the chance to play in the group stages of the Champions League? Obviously, that means playing some of the best teams in the world. The the financial gain as well that would bring from just being in the group stages of the Champions League, the glamour ties, the away trips as well, everything about it. The only thing, the big price that you would have to pay for that as well is, would you play in the Champions League group stages? But the only downside is Hibs would win the league before us. So
Mm,
your chance to play in the Champions League with all its was a glory. However, like it wouldn't have to be in that same season. It would be like 5 years, like or 10 years on. But you would know that Hibs would win the league at some point before us.
Nah, fuck the Hibs, man. Fuck the Hibs. Like we'll
Fuck the
get
money.
Champions League anyway.
Fuck the
We'll
money.
get
Aye.
Champions League anyway. Fuck the Hibs. Hibs, nah. If
Just wait, wait.
any scenario that involves Hibs winning any form of silverware, I'm going against it any day of the
Fair
week,
dues, fair
regardless of
dues.
whether it's before us or not. Like
I'll
fuck the
keep
Hibs,
that in
man. Come
mind. I
on.
will keep that back in mind for the future questions. Thank you very much, Alan, for your answer. And that brings us to the end of the podcast. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, we would like to hear all your feedback as well on the draw against was it Kilmarnock and your thoughts on the POAK game for this Thursday coming and what your predictions will be. And as always, if you want to get in the contact with us via our socials as well, all will be in the description as well. And yeah, further, all those pods going to the POAK game on Thursday as well. We do hope it was as bouncing as it was last Thursday, and we will see you next week with hopefully another happy podcast to bring you. So for everybody watching, take care, and we will see you in the next one. Bye for now.